A man rescued a trapped bear cub, and then the mother did something surprising. This man was walking through the forest when he found a bear cub trapped in a snare. Without hesitation, he decided to free the little animal. But just as he was about to continue on his way, something unexpected happened. The cub's mother, grateful for the help, did something surprising to show her gratitude to the man. Bears are omnivorous and carnivorous mammals found in various parts of the world, except Australia and Antarctica. There are different species, such as the polar bear, brown bear, panda bear, and black bear. Generally, bears range from medium to large in size and have thick fur. Some, like the polar bear, are excellent swimmers, while others, like the panda bear, have a predominantly herbivorous diet. Although these large animals generally avoid conflicts with humans and prefer to stay away if they feel that they or their cubs are in danger, they will not hesitate to defend themselves. Mothers raising their cubs alone are especially protective and will fight without a second thought to ensure the safety of their young. This story took place in Canada on a Sunday afternoon. David Tremblay, after a long day of work on his farm, was eager to relax by doing his favorite activity, fishing. During those moments, he would disconnect from all his problems. However, that day, he didn't know that something unexpected was about to happen. As he walked through the forest heading toward the river, he heard a faint, sad sound. He stopped to listen more closely, trying to locate where the noise was coming from. He followed the sound and ended up finding a bear cub trapped in a snare. Moved by the plight of the small, frightened animal, David immediately began looking for a way to free it. After a few minutes of effort, he managed to open the snare and release the cub, which did not resist the help it was receiving from the man. After freeing the cub, David realized something worrisome. He knew the wilderness well, having spent his entire life living near that forest. He knew that rarely would a bear cub be alone, which meant the mother was probably nearby. His instinct was right. The cub didn't immediately run away, but before dashing off, it looked at David with what seemed like a gesture of gratitude. David smiled, gently patted the cub's head, and continued on his way to the river, hoping not to encounter the cub's mother. However, at that moment, David didn't realize the great danger lurking behind him. Behind him, a large, fit bear silently followed, watching as he helped the cub. She kept her eyes fixed on the man, and the cub approached her. It was the cub's mother. When David realized the scene, his heart almost stopped. He thought he was in an extremely dangerous situation, believing the bear might think he had harmed her cub and react aggressively. The bear slowly began to approach David. He was paralyzed with fear, unable to move. He even felt like he might faint when the massive animal came closer to his arm. Just when he thought all was lost, David was surprised when the bear rubbed her snout against his hands. He was speechless, barely able to believe what was happening. Not wanting to dismiss the animal's friendly gesture, he raised his hand and gently patted the bear's head, feeling the warmth of her thick fur. Later, he commented that it was like petting a huge, furry dog. David shared this story with anyone willing to believe him, as there was no way to prove what he had experienced. The incredible part, however, didn't stop there. After saving her cub's life, the bear seemed to have formed a special bond with David. Every time he went fishing, she and the cub would leave gifts for him along the path, like fresh fruit or bones for him to eat. David knew it was the bear because he had seen her several times from a distance, placing the gifts on the path. She even watched him from afar while he fished and allowed the cub to approach him. In return, David would offer part of what he caught to both the bear and her cub. Over time, a beautiful bond of friendship formed between the man and this bear family. That bond would prove its strength a few months later. One day, while fishing, David realized that night had fallen faster than usual, or maybe he had lost track of time while fishing. The fact was, now he would have to cross the forest in the dark to get home. After a while, David realized he was lost. The darkness made it difficult to see, and the sounds of the forest began to frighten him. The situation worsened when he heard a growl coming from between the trees. Paralyzed with fear, he feared his luck would not be the same as before with the bears. Under the dim moonlight, he saw a wolf running in his direction, baring its teeth. Desperate, David gathered all the courage he could and started to run, but the wolf was quickly closing in. Just when it seemed like the wolf was about to attack, suddenly a bear appeared from between the trees and positioned herself between the man and the wolf. The wolf growled and advanced toward the bear, but she lifted one of her paws and gave it a strong swipe, causing the wolf to flee back into the forest. The man hadn't recognized the bear immediately, but he soon realized who it was when a smaller bear came out of the trees, confirming that it was the same bear family he had bonded with. Somehow, they had found him and returned the favor, saving his life. The bear cub walked up to David and greeted him by nudging him with its body. David was already used to this peculiar greeting. Soon after, the mother bear approached. It was then that David realized the bear had just saved him from the wolf's attack, and he thanked her with tears in his eyes. The bear made a slight nod, as if she understood the gesture of gratitude. Overwhelmed with emotion, David took one of the fish he had caught from his backpack and offered it to the bear family as a way to thank them for their help. After this incredible experience, the bear family led David back to the path that would take him home. It was a story David would never forget, and even today, from time to time, it continues to happen. He often encounters this bear family in the forest, and they never hesitate to come up to greet him. What do you think of this story? Give it a like and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video.